All right, so we're on the episode 24.
24?
Yes, indeed,
Mm,
sir. Yes, indeed.
24.
Episode 24. And our topics are our backlogs because we're at the end of the year. And by the time this video probably comes out, it's going to be the new year. And we're going to have a tsunami of other backlogs that eventually will
Mm,
fuck us over. And
indeed.
yeah,
You think
you
you
know,
think
it's
it's
kind
gonna
of
be
hard.
2021 by the time you
It,
publish this one?
it's going to be definitely 2021 by the time this comes out. By,
Hmm.
yeah, definitely. Because
Greetings from the past.
yeah. So, yeah, backlogs. We'll also kind of touch on some of our top last gen games, top five of that, or game of the year, kind of a revisit on that kind of thing. But it right now it's November 30th. We still got Cyberpunk, which I'm trying to just get some games done before that comes out. Because
Yeah.
once that game comes out, bam, I have a week off. I'm gonna fucking grind that
Mm,
game down to the ground, and I think I want to stream it, but don't take my word for it on that. I don't know if I am gonna do it, but
Okay,
I know for
I might watch.
sure. I know for sure I'm gonna play it though. Like I'm gonna fucking be just sucked into that game. No other games I'm gonna play. No other games. Apex sideline it. Other game. I really hope I get to finish Demon Souls by then.
It's like,
um,
we'll ask you more about that, but yeah.
yeah. And then lastly, me and Apollo are gonna talk about our PS5 experience. And yeah. So I guess I'll start off with one backlog, or actually, I have, long list of backlogs actually. So two of the ones that I'm like, actually more than that. Yeah, let me go through all of them. Okay, the first one that comes to mind, I really want to play The Witcher, but I'm probably never gonna play it.
mm,
Uh, and then there is Horizon Zero Dawn. Still haven't even beaten that game. Uh, Barely touched it. Uh, Near Automata, still same issue. Haven't gone through it. Red Dead Redemption, I'm still like in the middle of that, and still haven't beaten that one.
You never
Uh,
finished Red Dead Redemption 2?
nope. I just every
Man,
time I'm like getting through it, some other game comes out or whatever.
you're never
Let's
gonna finish,
see.
man.
Yeah, I'm never gonna finish that.
no.
It's
Just 'cause
To be
it's hard
impossible.
to
fair,
get back into it.
it is hard to get back into it. I
Mm,
just straight shot it in like a week, doing exactly what you said you're gonna do with Cyberpunk, Sean. Where I didn't play
right.
anything else
Yeah,
because
yeah. You isolate
it's such an
yourself.
engrossing thing, and it's like a 60-hour game too. So it's just
Right.
like
And then that and it's just, it's a slower paced game. I get it. I was able to like, kind of like bump myself into it here and there. And I forget at what time I was kind of going in and out of that game. But I'm only like literally the story is 50%. I'm literally on the like halfway mark with it.
mm,
I think Ghost of Tsushima was like one of the games that was like stopping me from playing the game Doom Eternal, and then Last of Us Part Two, and
sure.
then recently, like a while, like maybe a month ago or something, I beat Devil May Cry 5. But that's just really easy to just kind of go through. Oh right, and then God of War is another one I want to get through. I have Neo,
Mm,
I have Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. Still haven't touched it. Fuck. Let's go on with some really, really ancient ones. Fallout 4. Still haven't even fucking beat that. Um,
That's insane. I
that's how
actually
far
did
back it is.
start.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely started that game, and I have it both my PS4 and PC. And yeah, every time I start a new character, I get just a little bit past the original town. Never get past it.
Right.
mm,
It's just one of those things you gotta hunker down. I mean, I'm capable of honing into it, but then it's just new games like pop up and it just distracts me.
Yeah,
Uh, some really, really ancient ones: Battle Chasers, Transistor, Evil Within. I think I don't wait. Did I beat that? No, I didn't beat that
Transistor
either.
is so good.
Yes,
if you're gonna,
Transistor's really
if you ever
good.
do get to Evil Within, I would say just don't. play Evil Within 2
Oh, the
instead
second one?
because
Oh, okay.
it's far better in like
Superior?
every way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And
that's
it's a lot
right.
more fun
Resident
to
Evil
actually
was the
play.
thing, was the games that I also ran into that like stopped me from playing the other games. Andromeda, Mass Effect Andromeda, Kingdom Hearts 3, and I don't intend on going back to that. It's just really a bad game. Such a poor,
Yeah, I was
really
gonna
bad
play
game.
that, and then you told me that, and I
Nah.
was like, nah, I guess
Yeah.
I won't. Especially
spend the
because
money.
like I've only played the first and the second one,
Yeah.
and like I've heard from so many people, like, oh, well, you can just go straight to 3, right? It's like, no, you can't. You have to play the other games to understand what's going on, and even then, you're probably not gonna understand exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
And I haven't played the second one since PS2, like 12 years. Like I don't
Yeah.
even care anymore. Like,
Yeah.
so what's
It's
the difference?
it's just
It's been so long.
Yeah, it really has.
It's a combination of it's being so long, but then just okay. So I would have been okay with it being so long of a game in terms of like how the time from the previous to now, but there's just two huge problems that doesn't make me want to ever play the backlog. So there's games I want to go back to, like legitimately want to go back to, but. But Kingdom Hearts 3 ain't one of them for sure. That one I'm going to be all like, I'm just going to write it off as a loss. Like, you know, I'm putting it down as like, I put my money to it. It's a loss, but I'm all like, you know, that money.
Your time will be better spent somewhere else. Anyway,
Yeah. My money went towards like, hey, you know, I have a lot of love for the game back in the day. And like, you know, I really wish this was better, but you know, hey, I guess you got me as a fan, and I'm still a fan, but this third one is it's fucking garbage. It's just, it's garbage on the gameplay aspect. It's garbage in the story aspect. It's just really, really bad.
Really, on the
That's so
gameplay.
disappointing.
That's
The gameplay's
interesting.
so boring. It's so fucking unchallenging and babysitting that I literally could just like blindfoldly smash the game. You just smash the button and just blah 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 blah. Like there's no challenge at all.
That sounds like what's it called? You know those Hyrule Warriors. You know.
That's more fun than this.
Dynasty Warriors.
The
Yeah.
Warrior
Dynasty
move
Warrior.
code.
That's more fun than this. That's how like, and I know what you're talking
Man,
about because I used to
yeah.
play Dynasty
my
Warriors,
God.
and Dynasty Warriors was yeah,
Terrible.
Dynasty Warriors is like, you know, a 2x4 with a nail through it. That's how like the gameplay was, right? You can cheese the living shit out of it, and it's really easy to do it. And you know, there's just no intelligence in that kind of game, right? But it's just it's cathartic fun, right? Like you're just doing it to like get all the characters, and you're just like, oh, this ability. But then once you get through all that, you're done. But then with Kingdom Hearts though, it was just worse. Like you got these ability cutscene type of things that like it just comes back so easily and kills everything anyways, and all it is like a rerun of the same cutscene. And then when you get to the next story point, it's just like this, like I don't know what I'm listening to anymore. You know, even if I like looked up the stuff from the little weird intermittent games that they had between 2 and 3, like to explain the story, right? There's like, yeah, you're like, oh, here's the main story, hint of the thing that of the bad guy that you're about to meet. Oh, guess what? We're going to another Disneyland place, and now, fuck that story. We're talking about the Disneyland world and all the Disney stuff. Wee! And then you're like, but what about the story that we're you know, like we're getting to, right? It just like it inflated it, and I'm playing these Disneyland fillers. It's like having Naruto like filler land for like 3 you know 6 seasons in between like big story points, right? And you're just like, why am I spending my time on this? It's not even, it wasn't even like from point to point, it's not fun. It's just, there was nothing fun about it. So yeah, that's out the window. I ain't going back to that. And then I got Sonic Mania. I haven't even touched it, but that's a game I definitely would like to go to.
Actually, I tried that one out, and I don't know if it was just me or what, but like I played it for maybe an hour because that was on my backlog too for a long time, and it was free on PlayStation Plus like 6 months ago.
That's what I ended up getting it.
Yeah, and like
I haven't played the game. Just to preface, but I am glad I actually spent the money to buy it on I got on the Switch, but I still haven't
Yeah.
played it though. It's again one of those things where it's like, one of these days I'm gonna, actually invest some time into it. But yeah, I mean, I hear good
yeah,
things, so
I've heard a lot. Yeah, I heard a lot of great things, but I would, if you ever do get to it, I would like to hear what your thoughts are. Because yeah, again, I don't know if it was just me or what, but like I used to love those games, and man, I got back to it. I'm like, why the fuck did I like this? Like the music is really
Oh,
good and stuff, but I'm like, it really is just about going fast, and like everything else, if you slow down, like you realize just how poorly put together the games are, and it's like, oh man, like
mm,
this is not good.
I can
Like,
totally back up your point. Like I was excited to play, an old school Sonic game, but like going back to something that's basically a fans, you know, all, greatest hits,
yeah,
of that whole generation. Like I'm going back to play and I'm like, I don't like this.
yeah,
yeah,
Like it's
it's
too
one of
hard to
the.
control.
I
It's
think
really obtuse.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like its state is dated. It's just
Yeah.
like you kind of grew out of that. That's what I think it
yeah. I
mainly
mean,
is.
I think it's definitely that, and I think that definitely speaks to where you put it up against something. I mean, which is unfair, but I mean, obviously at the time with the Sega Nintendo wars, they were putting that Sonic against Mario, and it's just like you go back to Super Mario World or even the first Mario, like Super Mario or Super Mario 3. All those games, they're timeless. Like
Yeah.
they're still great,
You can
and you go
still
back to
play the
Sonic, and
original
it's just
Super
like,
Mario.
oh man, I understand why I like this as a kid. I understand why I was really into it, but it doesn't work anymore.
Right.
It,
I think that's a funny thing to that it's a good the game Sonic Mania is from what I'm hearing is a good replication of like of the
Old school.
original to a point where
Well,
it doesn't do
yeah, yeah,
anything
it's
Not just
new,
the
the original, it's
right?
also
yeah
the
this
other games like the
yeah the
32X and the
two
Sega
yeah
CD.
yeah they're a bunch. It's like an amalgamation of all those games. Yeah,
Right, okay. So, okay, yeah, that kind of I get that. I can understand that. I'll have my my expectations kind of like tempered.
yeah.
Okay, so what else is there? There's some more. Sonic Mania, Resident Evil 2 Revelations. Here, well, before we kind of get into some of these,
Revelations 2 or Revelations?
well, both actually. So I have Revelations on my 3DS. No, wait, I have it on my Switch. So I have Revelations on my Switch, and I have Revelations 2 here on my PS4. And okay, let's just keep on going. So Deus Ex, Mankind Divided, Far Cry
Mankind
4,
Divided.
Far Cry 4 I got for free and did not even touch it. So Death Stranding, Resident Evil 3, Resident Evil 2 already did that. I want to go back to the DLCs of Marvel Spider-Man, because I have
oh
those.
yeah, those
Ah,
are definitely worth
yes.
playing. Those are
Those are
definitely
just
worth playing, and I'm glad actually that you haven't played them yet, because like I when people were reviewing them, like because they came
Mm.
out separately, people were like, oh, don't these are good, but like don't play them until they all came out, and like
Oh,
so you can play them like all at once, and
right.
that's what I did. I waited until all three were out, and
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it's just a really awesome 10-hour experience. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I would, yeah.
That's good. Okay, so cool. So Marvel, yeah, Marvel Spider-Man, with the DLCs, haven't touched those yet, and then I haven't touched Fez. I have Fez, but I haven't touched it.
Yeah.
I don't know
that's
if I'm gonna
that
go
almost
back to
sounds
that.
that almost sounds old school, and it's really just the last gen in the game,
Was it?
right?
Was
I
it
think
last gen?
it came out last generation. It came out like at the
Well,
very end of the
technically,
last
the
generation, I
generation
think.
before last, yeah.
Yeah,
PS3, Xbox,
PS.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Xbox.
what I
Yeah,
meant. Yeah.
Yeah,
PS3. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, I'm not gonna. I have What Remains of Edith Finch, but I'm not gonna play that. Probably not my kind of
Ah,
thing.
you should. You should.
Is it? Okay.
That's actually on like spoilers, but that's on one of my games of the generation. It's like a 2-hour game. I would totally get it. I would
Ah,
totally play it. It's
okay.
really good.
I have that, and then there's Detroit Become Human and Heavy Rain. Haven't played
That's a
those.
good experience.
I honestly, those two games specifically, I'd rather watch somebody play.
Yeah, I can
I'm not
understand.
really in like I don't
Hey,
know.
sounds like a stream night for all of us.
That
Those
could
are
be something.
good games to do that with.
Yeah, a
We did
little
that with
party
Until
thing.
Dawn a few years ago.
That's true. We
Yeah,
did do that, didn't we?
yeah, we could have a social distance, streaming party
Yeah,
instead of
somebody could be. I mean, any of us could be streaming it, and then we just all watch together. So that'd be kind of cool.
Mhm.
I mean, I kind of want to do that's. Speaking of that, I kind of want to do that with Cyberpunk though. Like, I kind of want to like have people like, hey, try this, like thing, because I want to,
Mm.
because Cyberpunk feels like that kind of game that you can just do. There's so much to do and so much to explore that you could like have a group of people playing and then the watchers are like telling the person is like, oh, check this out or blah blah blah. Anyways, whatever. Anyway, so Resident Evil. Well, I played Resident Evil. That one's what's this one?
which
15.
Resident Evil?
The remake one.
Oh, yeah.
Already got that out of the way. Uncharted
it's good.
4 was it Fury? Fury.
Fury. That is definitely. That's a game that's a very short game, but that's mostly a test of your skills.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it shouldn't take you that long. It probably should take you like 6 or 7 hours if on the first get go.
I
But
legit don't remember playing it.
just be ready for some frustrating times because the game it's
Yeah,
tough
I
but
played like
fair.
an hour of it, and I was like, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
need more of this. Like, I don't need more Dark Souls-esque type of thing.
Yeah.
Let's see what else is there. I mean, that should be everything. Where,
Sounds like a good list. It's interesting how
oh, right,
like
Remnant from the Ashes. That's one.
yes.
Mm.
That's another
keep-
one.
Ah man,
What
I
else is
always
there?
need to get back into that because it's such a good that's a good take on the type of Dark Souls mobility, but with guns.
Right. It kind of reminds me a lot of Bloodborne. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Reminds
just
me like
basically all
Bloodborne
the
and
all the
RE4
missing.
put together.
Yeah, like basically the missing like co-op, how easy it is to co-op into stuff like that. Like it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
unlike Demon Souls and the most of the like
Any
older.
From Software game.
Yeah, like it's
This is a
hard.
pain in the ass.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass to play with other people. But yeah, I mean, I think that's about it. I can't think of anything else.
Mm.
Man, 2020. It
Oh,
seems
yeah,
like it was
that's
developed
right.
by From Software, huh?
Yeah, Switch games, right? I'll mention Zelda. Yeah, that I still haven't even.
Breath of the Wild.
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
Still
Actually,
haven't gone
let me
through.
add that to my list. I forgot about that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely one that I still haven't. Kind of. Yeah.
I mean, you could always play the
I
the
think I
free
only.
version.
I
The one that's on
oh,
on
Genshin
mobile.
Impact.
Yeah. Breath of the Waifu.
Breath of the Waifu, and then the husbandos. They're husbandos. Huh. Yeah, they're husbandos there. It's
Yeah.
not just waifus.
I mean, who cares about those bandos? But sure.
Hey, you could be into that. Hey, there's some girls
That's
playing Genshin Impact too. They need
That's
they
true.
need some.
And 10% of guys.
And there's some guys that that are into the husbandos too.
Yeah, for sure.
I ain't judging.
Mhm.
You gotta have
It is
both.
2020. Yep.
Hmm.
Hell, I'm looking forward to just giving my character on
Oh, you
2077 a
mean
giant
open world
schlong.
Maple story? God.
That it really is. Oh man.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's about it though. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head right now.
Huh. Oh man. Yeah, no, I have some old school games that I really want to get through. As far as my backlog goes. Unfortunately, I got back into PC gaming, so looking at my Steam list, I'm like, ah, god damn it.
Oh
There's
no.
so many games that are.
I'm
Yeah.
not gonna even start with my Steam list. It's gonna no. Yeah.
To be fair, I almost like, just looking at the, sheer amount of games that I have like spread out with like throughout like 3 different, platforms, it just becomes the kind of thing where like it comes down to like a cost benefit thing. Like how how long am I gonna spend on this game? Am I actually gonna play it? Am I really gonna go back and play Warhammer 40,000 Dawn of War DLC? Like, no, I don't think so. But as far as some old games that I really
Oh,
wish I had played from. Oh god.
okay. You brought up PC games. All right, the Guild Wars 2. I've been playing. I played a lot of that before, and Chris is still playing it. We still have a guild there, and then every so often Paulo is just checking up on it. He doesn't actually play, but he just kind of goes around and checks things out. But there was a that's I'll just add it to my list of things that I haven't caught back to, and I touched upon not too long ago. But yeah.
Right. Let's see. As far as like old games that I really wanted to play and goes, I really wanted to play Metal Gear Rising. I still have it sitting on my PC, and
Mm.
now that I actually have a PC that can run it, because back in the day when I actually bought it, I had a freaking toaster for a PC. I'd like to go back and play it. Like I really like those hack and slash kind of games, as well as Vanquish. Who remembers Vanquish?
I love Vanquish.
I never got to play it back in the
Oh,
PS3 era.
yeah.
Excellent game, yeah. And
Again,
it's
made.
short too.
But,
It's like 6 or 7 hours.
oh, that's nice. I think I'll get through it. For those who don't know, it's another game made by Platinum Games, and it's you know, um, how would you describe Vanquish?
It's like a futuristic. It's almost like the like the fucking that stupid GI Joe movie with the cyber suits, except it's
Yeah.
awesome and it has like really good like mobility and
No.
stuff. It's all about mobility and like quick movement and gunplay and stuff. It's really fun.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I really want to go back and play it. And like they recently released it, for
Oh
for
yeah,
PC,
forgot
and
about that. Yeah.
yeah, and it has excellent frame rate. Like I can't wait to get back into it. As
Mm.
well as one of the classic ones that I never got to play from the PS3 era, Spec Ops: The Line.
Oh, you never played that?
I
Oh,
never
I'm
got to.
interested to see what you think. That game is awesome. Yeah, yeah. Tell me if you get to that game. Let me know what you think of it because it's really awesome.
You know what? The only thing I only like test. I only fired up for a little bit of a test, and just the art direction still holds up. Like
Yeah,
what is it, 10, 12 years later? That generate that
it's
just
not
the
that
graphics.
old. It came out in 2012.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah, but 8 years later, it still looks good.
Yeah.
Um, let's see, what else do I want to get to? Far Cry 3 as well. I never actually got to play Far Cry
Mm.
3, and I heard that was the last Far Cry that had a good story.
Yeah. The story's okay.
Oh yeah.
It's manageable. I mean, honestly, it's on par with the rest of the Far Cry stories. I think.
Oh okay.
Yeah, that's I reviewed that game back in the day. So I just kind of went through it in a weekend. I know a lot of people, they put that's like their favorite Far Cry. They love it. They love the open world. I just kind of beeline through the story. I wasn't really actually compelled to explore that open world like I was with the other Far Cries. But
It's
you know,
interesting. Yeah, I also bought Far Cry 5 for a while, and my brother and I really wanted to play it together, but just a few minutes of it playing together, we realized that Far Cry 5 was just incredibly buggy. Like we
it is
played like maybe
buggy
like
and
2 or 3 hours
not that
in,
fun.
yeah, it's not fun. Like it gave me that whole, well, this is just more Far Cry.
I mean, for me, I put like 12 hours in that game. I really tried to like it, but for me, they sort of broke the sort of game loop that they were so good at with the
Hmm.
outposts and all that stuff, and uh, it just wasn't fun. Like they tried to fix something that wasn't broken, and also the world was a little too big. Um,
Right.
like because there was so many patches where there's just like, oh, this is a big world, there's a lot of like forest here, but there's nothing going on, and
Huh.
it's also doesn't have the wackiness of the other, like Far Cry 4, where you like an eagle will come by and just pick up a goat and just like fly away with it, or like a
Right.
rhino. These guys will be driving across the street and like honey badgers that are already on fire will just like launch themselves at it. Like just weird fucking shit
I
like that Far Cry
absolutely,
is known for. It's just
yeah.
not in 5.
Oh, that's so sad. Like those were my favorite things of Far Cry 4. Like those moments where
Exactly.
like all the
Exactly.
disparate, separate systems just came clashing against each other, and you
Yeah.
could see like fucking chaos going on.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like one of my favorite moments was sniping with like with a fucking revolver, some guy in the in a truck, smashing himself into another one. Some rhinos, coming into them, like, blasting them out. It's like, oh well, that worked itself out.
Yeah. I mean, that's the
Uh,
thing. That is 100% true. Is like that's what it's all about in Far Cry is those wacky systems colliding, and they just don't have that in 5. Like you'll
uh,
get small moments of it, but it's not the same.
yeah. Oh, that's too bad. Ah, I really gotta sing my praises to Far Cry because there's so many elements where you just create your own fun. Like,
Oh yeah.
you're piloting your own, tiny little, helicopter, jump on top of some motherfucker with a machete, throw a, knife to some guy coming up, and then, throw a grenade to some other guy coming up the other side.
Yeah.
It's just,
And that's the story you remember, not the main campaign story. Fuck that. Like you make your own story. Yeah.
it's so true. Honestly, I completely forgot about the Far Cry 4 story.
Yeah.
Yeah, something to do with drugs.
Yeah. Who knows?
Who knows? It's a mystery. Nobody will ever know. The other game I'm definitely gonna get through before um 2077 comes out is gonna be Prey. I
That's a good one. Yeah.
it's yeah, I really like the setting. It's just such a
Yeah.
great, BioShock in space. And
Right.
playing it on PC, it's actually a better experience for some reason than playing it on PS4.
Hmm.
So I'll definitely give it a go. It's definitely more of a, I think what the genre is called immersive sim,
Hmm.
where, you know, you again create your own fun by having like all these different systems, and pit them against each other.
Right.
Yeah, but
Yeah, a lot of people tout it as like Bioshock in space, and I played like 5 or 6 hours of it when it came out, but I just couldn't keep going. Like it was just too boring. Like, and it
yeah,
took so long to get your like abilities and stuff.
yeah. Honestly, once you finally get going, it definitely picks up. But
Mm,
I think that both Bioshock, I think it's kind of unfair in comparison to Bioshock because the original Bioshock and Bioshock Infinite are both a streamlined version of what Prey is trying to do.
sure.
Yeah. So yeah, it's something that I'll definitely get through. And as far as my PS4 games go, I'm literally staring at the box of Devil May Cry 5 that I bought
Mm.
last year. I never fucking installed it. And yeah, I'm sure it's gonna be a fast, quick game. It's something that I can get through in maybe 1 or 2 days. But
Yeah, it's
I'm
definitely a
getting
quick
lazy
game.
about it. The other game that I really wanted to do is Final Fantasy 15, but that's a commitment.
Mm.
hmm I haven't even played any of the DLC stuff and don't want to because the fact that they're stopping it.
What do
That's
you mean
sad.
stopping it?
They stopped it. They're not making any more of the DLCs. They didn't end up finishing their storyline with the DLCs for Final Fantasy 15.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
strange. They just kind of moved on.
Uh, you know what? I would say yes in the sense that other games were taking up maybe their funding or time. Yeah. So
Huh.
I guess like they couldn't,
And they're
wrap up
probably
their
working on
story.
Final Fantasy. Most of the team probably went to Final Fantasy 16 since it's coming out. It's the same
Yeah,
team, so
well,
like,
yeah. So six. I
I
mean,
mean,
there's a
it
lot
has
of
been like
reasons. Yeah,
4 years
Yeah.
since
it's
the game came out, so
if I remember
that's a long time
correctly,
to put out DLC.
yeah, Final Fantasy remake. There's the yeah. So Final Fantasy remake. There's also Final Fantasy 16, and then, as we all know, they also did the Avengers that tanked
Oh yeah.
in terms of like how much the money they put into it, and
Sucks for them.
it did not come back
Yeah.
in
Oh well,
revenue.
that's Square Enix, but I meant just like the team that's working
Oh,
specifically on Final Fantasy.
right. I mean, yeah, I'm not. I'm talking just in general. Like, I'm pretty positive. Like, they're just not gonna put more into it. Like
Sure,
even
yeah.
even if the team was available, I don't think they're gonna like let them wrap it up because
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
it's
it
one of
makes
those
honestly,
things.
it makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I think it's just too much of their money and time or something like that.
Oh, you know what I bought for my PC during the Steam sale event? Control. I can't wait to play that
Oh,
motherfucker.
I
Oh,
love that
that's
game.
right. There's Control.
It's
Yeah.
one of my favorite games of the last year.
Ooh. I can see why. I mean, I only played that quick 2-hour demo, and I was like, oh, I want more of this.
Yeah, a lot of cool ideas in that game. The combat is just excellent.
Good writing seems to.
Oh yeah, really cool story. If not like confusing in a good way, like it's very X-Files meets like Twin Peaks.
Hmm.
So it's like you'll get some cool stuff, but you also get some stuff that doesn't make sense at all. But it's not supposed to. But it's just
Right.
like it's just nonsense. But it's always fun.
Nice, nice. There's also this really quick game that I really want to play on PC called Bullets Per Minute (BPM). This
Oh yeah,
yeah, if you haven't heard about it, for those who don't know, it's a FPS rhythm game.
yeah,
Hmm.
really
Yeah,
cool concept.
I like that idea. Um, Finally, what was I thinking? Um, does anybody know if you know, at this point in the generation, Alien Isolation would be a good experience?
Uh, uh, it's a tough call. I mean, like it's in
Like,
my opinion. Uh, I mean,
I'm
it's
intrigued
super
by the
cheap.
concept, you know.
It's super cheap. So I would say if you want to give it a try, give it a try. Because I bought it at full price when it first came out, and it was not worth that. But like at this point, 6 years later, yeah, if you want to give it a try, for sure, give it a try. You might end up liking it.
Nice, nice.
Or at
It's an
least the
intriguing
beginning of it.
proposition.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's way too long of game for sure. It's like 16 hours, and it's one of those games where like you get to one part, you think it's over, and then it keeps going, and then you get to the next part, and you're like, I finally did it, and then it keeps going, and it's like, all right, it really did it this time. It keeps going. But the first 6 hours are, or like 4 to 6 hours, something like that, are really awesome. Like it's very atmospheric, very just like it's quiet, but it's scary at the same time, intense, and then the alien shows up and just breaks the entire game because it's just way too powerful.
Oh, that's too sad. I mean, I'm intrigued by that whole proposition of having an, enemy that is both unkillable. That it's, well, but it's basically Mr. X, but faster. And basically the entire start of the show. Although now that I think about it,
Yeah, and there's
Mr.
no
X,
safe room to like hide from him. either.
honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, it might actually not be the experience that I like because I remember that for Resident Evil 2, Mr. X was the worst thing about it for me for that game.
I can understand that, especially
Yeah.
when you're like trying to get a puzzle done, and he's just like he walks in the room. It's like, come
He is.
on!
Just
Now you
give me
gotta
a-
lead him around the whole building just to get him off your back and go back to the puzzle. I just need to move the ladder a bit closer, and then he jumps back down. It's like, how did you get back here so fast?
Yeah, on that note, like he is kind of a butler in the sense that he doesn't just let you explore at your own pace, but at the same
Yeah.
time, he kind of also forces you to um optimize your routes.
Yeah.
Like definitely in that second playthrough where I was trying to to get it done as fast as possible, I just I just got you just get into this mental state where like, okay, I'm going through this room, I'm gonna try not to use any bullets, I need to go to this place, get that key to can go to this place so I don't meet Mr. X, but if I do meet it, I'm gonna take this other place.
Yeah.
He
And
definitely changes
you
the way
sound
you
like
play.
you really go through a lot of mental gymnastics. Like,
But it's fun. It's the good, fun mental gymnastics. That's not the cult version mental
Yeah.
gymnastics where like the apocalypse doesn't happen. You're like, well, I guess it's too late to not drink the Kool-Aid.
it's that's funny because I remember playing it and my stance on it was like, well, this guy's easy to avoid. I just like like he just had like a pathing that you can lead him towards, and I just like learned quickly like, oh yeah, don't collide in him with the doors, and oh yeah, if I get another enemy, better fucking make sure that I don't get sandwiched between him and them. It was
Yeah,
because
that's
that guy.
definitely what ended up happening to me. My God,
He's actually good to like
Uh,
use against other enemies though too. Like if
yeah.
there's a line of zombies between you and him, he'll just
Right.
bitch slap
He'll
them all
just
to
like,
death
yeah,
to
they
get
just
to you.
run into them.
And you just run
Yeah.
away. It's like, thanks, buddy. You cleared the
Yeah.
whole room for me.
It's like, huh, you're more useful than I thought. I feel like I can understand people's like, kind of gripes with Nemesis being that they were expecting him to be like a more sophisticated Mr. X, but he
Mhm.
yeah, clearly wasn't. Like it wasn't
I
meant to
mean,
be like that. Yeah. Which
I
I mean,
honestly
he
wish they
is.
had put him like
He
that.
he is the thing. Well,
like
the
he is
thing
in
is that
story,
they
but not in the
made.
gameplay. I mean, he wasn't
I mean,
like, you know what I mean?
I
Like
mean,
he
yes and
wasn't
no. I mean, I would say the
only in the
reason that they
beginning.
definitely, the, I mean, not exactly. I mean, the way that Mr. X works is that like he's kind of like the T-800 from the original Terminator, where he's very one tracked and he's like stupid. But then like with Nemesis, if you try, you have to fight him. Like
Yeah,
if
you
he's
have to
in
get
your
through.
way, and you like run away, he'll like leap over you and block your way, or he'll grab you and pull you back. Like, so I definitely understand with like the scripted and unscripted stuff, people didn't really like that. The
Right,
thing
right.
is that they had to switch him up because they made Mr. X in the remake what Nemesis was in the original,
Mm,
where he could go through doors and he could just go anywhere. So they
yeah,
had to like reinvent it.
Yeah, I don't
they
know. In
If they
they
general,
did
had to
it,
do
if they did
something.
it
Yeah,
again, then it just would have been the same thing.
that's true.
right, right.
Although I don't know. For me, Resident Evil 3 was a bit of a disappointment. I wanted a bigger game, or
A
just have
bigger game.
more
I
of the
mean,
city. Like
Like
I
a bigger
definitely want a
experience.
more of that. I want
I
it to
mean,
be more in that urban environment. Like as almost like only like a
I
bit.
get
It's
that.
Oh,
less than the
I
third
see.
of the game is in that urban environment, and then you just kind of moved on to the sewers and the more linear environments.
Yeah, I can understand that. I think they because they did that in the original, where it was like this big, like pretty open world city, but there wasn't a lot there, so they ended up really truncating it in three, which I know a lot of people don't like. I liked it though because you get a good taste of the city, but it's not like there's a point to everything, and it's like there's a little bit of exploring to like in the stores and side alleys and stuff, but it's not like, oh, this is just filler here, like just to have a bigger game.
Right. I see.
Right.
It's
Yeah, yeah.
and there's all it also makes for far less backtracking, which is nice. It's
Hmm.
more like, okay, it's just linear. Get this. We're gonna move to the next section. Okay, and it just I think it gives the game a much better momentum.
Yeah, I think the remake was definitely good. Like it wasn't worse than the previous one. Um, yeah, I think also it's just like one of those things where it came up. Well, it's three. It came after two, and I guess like two, it has such like high praise in the fact that it's the newer remake of the current like gunplay that they have now.
To me, in my view, Resident Evil 2 is their finest game so far. Like
Mm.
it's the one that I feel like they refined the gameplay the most. They knew exactly what they wanted to do with the thing. It's not perfect, but I think it's like, it has a very uh, it has a very um like single tone that it kind of keeps all the way until the very end. It just kind of and the action doesn't ramp up until the very end, which is exactly the type of storytelling that they're doing, where you're um, you're vulnerable to begin with, and there you're kind of empowered at the very end.
Mm.
Hmm. Yeah, I
There's
feel
some
that.
things that yeah, there were still some like flaws that I feel they did, like the multiple paths thing was better done in the original than in the second game, but in the remake.
Huh.
Hmm.
But it was still fun, I think. And
Is there any other
I
backlogs?
was yes, one game. It's called the Outer Wilds, and
Yeah. Yeah.
it's this space exploration game that in which you have to you there's a lot of like physics and like space time calculations you have to do apparently to like land in planets and to get things done. Somebody described it as No Man's Sky but good. So
Hmm.
with a storyline, so I would be interested in actually playing No Man's Sky, but good.
Is it procedurally generated?
No, like it actually has like very like it has a very like it has a set solar system, but you
Right.
have to move to every single one of those every single one of those planets. Those planets are themselves like rotating around their star.
Hmm.
So when you move through space, you have to move to where the planet is going to be rather where than just where you see the planet
Oh.
going.
Huh.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's interesting. And apparently there's also some, of course, more sci-fi shenanigans with like some sort of reincarnation system or something. So I don't know. I kind of kept myself out of the loop like on purpose to enjoy it the most. But
Yeah.
yeah, looking forward to that. Yeah, that's pretty much my backlog so far.
Noise, noise.
Hmm.
All
What
right,
about
D.
you?
What do you got?
Mostly my Nintendo Switch and Steam library because I downloaded a lot of games during a sale like last year. Um, and aside from the fighting games that I actually play, uh, most of it I didn't finish Rise of the Tomb Raider. I got
Mm.
to a certain point, just kind of stopped, and that was the end of it for the moment. I picked up HD. What was it? Star Ocean. What was Star Ocean 4 called? Like I keep forgetting the uh, subtitle Star Ocean 4, but I played that on my PC, and I got all the way to a certain point, and this is when I had my second computer. I saved the game, stopped it from there. Once I built my current computer, I played like a little bit, but I just didn't like get a lot of sessions in. I think I just
Mm.
wanted to play other games at that point and just like see what else the new app then new machine could do.
Right.
Um, a couple of other games I downloaded because I did download Resident Evil 2 and I just put that off because I was like, oh shit, I want to wait till I get an Oculus until finding out that they did that stupid Facebook stipulation thing. I'm like, oh, I'll look for another VR set, but it
But
was
you
hard
mean
to find a VR headset that I wanted. Um, but yeah, that's gone unplayed for a
you
while.
do you mean
Um,
Resident Evil 7 or Resident Evil 2?
to
2 is has a VR setting.
PC, there's a mod.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting.
Oh, cool.
Uh, That's the fun thing about PC, right? All the mods.
Oh yeah, like there, and some mods get kind of crazy too, where you could do things like reshade or just download new texture packs, and that's not just limited to PC, but it's just amazing what fans would be driven to take on that.
Yeah, totally. Make a skimpy Claire play that game. She's like half naked the whole time.
Nah, man, you make Mr. X, just walk around with his giant schlong.
Oh yeah, all the nude Claire
That's
mods and
that
stuff.
sounds pretty scary.
Honestly, it sounds terrifying.
Yeah, I
Ah, mine's a grower,
I
not a
have
shower.
this terrible habit of starting a Tales game and never finishing it.
Mm.
Same.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of games, but like I was really into Tales of Vesperia when I got it on my Switch,
Huh.
and I just never finished it. Like I got to a certain point of the game, and I just had this huge gap between like my last playthrough and then my most current playthrough. And I'm like, I remember this temple, but what the fuck was I doing in here? And was there more stuff I wanted to do? And I also downloaded another Tales game for Steam, which was I keep getting the name of this messed up, but it's the one with the werewolf chick, Tales of Berseria or something.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I
yeah.
heard that that had a lot of censorship in it, and but
Huh.
Yeah,
I
it's a good
still
one.
downloaded it because it was like what $10 or $20. I'm like, whatever. It's like I can play this on PC and I can play this when I'm done with Star Ocean. surprised there, right? But I'll get to it, I'm sure. Um, no, I can't really think of a lot of other games in my Steam library. I'm sure I downloaded more, but it's mostly Tomb Raider, Tales, Resident Evil that I just want to get through. Um, and for my Nintendo Switch, I know that I used to go by the GameStop that's no longer around at Powell Street or whichever. I
Oh
used to
yeah.
just go there every one of my Friday lunch breaks because that's when I just do my one meal a day thing. I'm just like, I don't really go out to eat lunch. I just go out shopping and just picking up a few things I need for home. So
Right.
most of those trips would either be to GameStop or Target, where I just feel like picking up a new game or two.
Mm.
And I just picked up whatever I could. I picked up Gunvolt for the Switch. I picked up, eh, like, I played a little bit of it, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is just like playing a Mega Man X game, except you're not a robot. And I just kind of stopped, and they kept releasing more Gunvolt games, and I'm like, oh shit. Um, and whoa, what else? I know I finally picked up Monster Boy in the Cursed Kingdom, and that was one of the games that I wanted to pick up on the Switch for the longest time because I kept bothering them about when the game was going to be in stock. And when they finally had the game in stock, and I played through a whole lot of it, it's kind of like the classic Wonder Boy games, or it's akin to Zelda 2, except there's more items and equipment and shit.
Hmm.
I'm
So
playing it. I'm playing
it's
through it too, and it's a lot
functionally
of
an
fun.
exploration game,
Mhm.
but it's functionally an exploration game, but it plays more like a platformer. And I guess these days it's sort of like a Metroidvania, except like this was before Castlevania even decided to do the exploration platform format. Um, and the game's been running quite a bit, but yeah, I got to near the end of that Monster Boy in the Cursed Kingdom.
Nice.
It's a nice playthrough. It's got nice 2D graphics in it. Uh, it can be a little frustrating at times, but again, like I keep bringing this up, once you get the frog, the game actually does pick up to be a little bit better
Mm.
because fuck the pig form all the way through. But I'm near the end and the difficulty spiked up quite a bit. I'm like, oh, I'll finish this some other time. And it's been months since I got to near the end. So there's that.
That's why I'm
I
playing High
also
Warriors.
had the SNK Anniversary Collection, and I was doing a replay of Crystallis. I already beat that game before, but it's sometimes it's going to be years since you beat a game and you don't remember all the events of it, so you just replay
Sure.
to have a refresher. I would consider that a bit of a backlog, even though it's technically a game I did beat before. Just like, I just want to refresh my memory. Old school action RPG NES games, or just weird because they have charm, but they get fucking broken with the difficulty spike. And a lot of times before game balance was even thought of, shit would be just terrible with hit detection and game balance. Like, I'm surprised that the player experience is like that. Um, I wouldn't say that Sonic Mania is backlog because I do have the game and I beat the game once. But the problem is when you have Sonic games with multiple characters, beating the game with one character isn't completing the game.
Hmm.
Mm.
And worse even is that they would have like 2D Sonic games would require you to collect all the Chaos Emeralds, whereas 3D Sonic games tend to integrate that into the story. Not all 3D Sonic games do, but the ones that I remember playing did. And yeah, they have two different special stages to get the Chaos Emerald. I don't know. I mean, I had a time playing it, but I wouldn't really say I had a great or grand time. Just like, hey, yeah, I remember Sonic used to be like this, and I know the flavor of Sonic. It's like, yeah, Sonic games kind of work one way, where
Yeah, they
it's
do.
just it once you get through what's considered the meat of a Sonic game, the rest is just like, okay, this is kind of platforming, and there's more obstacles. It's like, well, I can't go as fast when there's like spikes and unseen enemies everywhere. It's like, yeah,
Yeah, the
once you get past the
platforming
Green
does
Hill
not
Zone
work in those
section or
games, dude.
whichever.
The platforming doesn't work,
Exactly.
and I realized that when I played it. When I replayed Sonic, or when I tried out Sonic Mania, where I was like, "Oh yeah, I remember the platforming. This is fun." But
Yeah.
I thought it was fun, but it's just like, oh no, it's just the parts where you're going fast and on
Mhm.
the track and doing it. When you have to, anytime you have to slow down to do any sort of platforming, it's just torture to go through.
You know what's
Here
funny?
is the
It's
Sonic
that
experience in 2D for me. Oh my god, I hope I don't lose all these rings. I hope I don't lose all these rings. I just want to get to the special stage so bad. Please keep
I
doing
know you pretty much get to the
it.
end of the
God
whole thing with
damn
like
it.
1 or 2 rings.
And it is like that all the time. One of the
Yeah,
criticisms I heard about Sonic Mania, which is so fucking true, in old school Sonic, the most that you can take on a stage is 3 minutes at most. You're
right.
given 10 minutes to complete a stage
Yeah,
effectively. Most
Mhm.
stages would be around like 2 or 3 minutes. You know how long a stage in Sonic Mania can take? As long as to complete 7 to 8 fucking minutes.
yeah,
I don't know what it is with fan games that they have to pump up the gas and say, you know, what would be great if this course took like twice as long as it would from the official. There is a reason why games
right.
like Sonic or Mario have the lengths and stages that they do from the people officially up top. They
Yeah,
understand the player experience can wane after a while, which is
Mhm.
why they have to keep them reasonably not short, but just long enough to be engaging, but short enough where you can replay it.
Yeah.
mm, yeah,
Problem is that fan games will go like, we want it to be so long, we want to be remembered for it. And it's like, that's the wrong play, dude. You can't have Sonic stages lasting so long that you're going to run the clock. What's the point? You're not being very fast.
exactly.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I could see playing it again, but I can't really see playing it and enjoying it the same way as I do 2D Sonic games, but I see the love they
Yeah,
had for that.
yeah, for
But yeah,
sure.
that's pretty much my experience of Sonic Mania. It's like it's a novelty, but it's not necessarily Sonic 4, and it's not necessarily, well, they already made a Sonic 4, I know, but not necessarily Sonic 4, but 2D or anything like that. It's just like,
Yeah,
hey, it's a labor of love, but it's not necessarily that kind of game where it recaptures the lightning in the bottle that Sega
right.
Sonic was. So, yeah,
I
that's
mean,
my piece on that.
some games are very much product of their time. Like it
Oh
worked
yeah,
when the back in the Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo games. They just don't really work now.
That's because you didn't spend like 7 to 8 minutes on a fucking Sonic and Knuckles stage.
That's
That's
what I'm
why.
saying. Because I don't want to. I want to have fun.
Yeah, I want to get all the Chaos Emeralds in the first couple of stages and then just like cheese through it as Super Sonic because
oh
was that
man,
awesome? That was
yeah,
my fest.
yeah.
uh,
There's one blue spear, I get mad and turn the game off and go like, I'll play you tomorrow, whatever.
Have you have Nintendo Online for your Switch, right?
Oh, what now?
You have Nintendo Online for Switch, right?
Uh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Do you
mean,
ever go
I
back
got.
to like any of those Super Nintendo games that maybe you never played?
I've been mostly playing the NES games, really. I got to play Rygar for the first time on that and played that all the way through and
Mm,
abused save states to kill the
You know,
boss.
it's so
Last boss, it's like that's all
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Um, Super Nintendo, I haven't gotten as much time to play. I think when I playing Super Punch Out on it, it crashed or I had to do something else.
Oh,
I
that's
forget,
weird.
but not a lot of like it's a novelty to have,
yeah.
really. Let's see. I mean, other kind of like I didn't get Breath of the Wild on the Switch. I got it on Wii U,
Mm.
Right.
and I played that game feverishly on the first weekend that I had it,
Mm.
but I got to I got the DLC. I got a lot of shit in that game, but I am still like 16 shrines short. And the last time I tried to go shrine hunting, I just kind of got bored, like exploring the world. I'm like,
Hmm.
I didn't even kill Ganon yet, and I didn't even unlock the Master Sword's true
Oh man.
potential. I didn't
Oh.
get the prize for getting all the shrines because again, still 16 shrines short. But I gotten to a point where I'm like, you know what, fuck exploration. I'm just looking at a guide because the fucking shrine detector needs to be rehauled if they do something like that for the sequel. Uh,
Mm.
just beeping and going like, "Where's the shrine? Where's the shrine?" Oh, you know, it's kind of like being told the hot and cold game, and then someone just says hot when you're nowhere near the object. And I'm like, "Oh, you're getting
Yeah.
hot. You're getting warmer. You're getting warmer." It's
When the
like, where is it?
detector
Where the
isn't
fuck is the
detecting well.
object?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Is not accurate enough.
And
Well,
when
don't
I'm
even
in the
get me
Evil
started on the
region,
Korok seeds. Like you can
like
actually
some of the
also detect the Korok seeds. There's 900 of them.
Yeah.
900
So
and
you're like in a
900
cluster of them,
fucking
and then you're like
corruptions,
detecting
and
it
what do you
everywhere,
get?
Yeah, pretty much.
but you
The
can't see
shining
it.
thing.
That's way too many collectibles. That there is such a thing as too many collectibles, and that's too many.
There
No,
was
the
another
whole
game that
point
you
of
said
the
that had too
damn
many
seeds
collectibles,
was
right?
just
The
to
Last of
expand
Us.
your item
Oh yeah,
slots
Last of Us.
too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The
Like,
first
okay,
Last of Us had a good amount, but the second Last of Us was just way too many. I don't need to collect the fucking coin for every state. Like it's not necessary.
I didn't even collect them in real life.
Why couldn't they have a couple of those coins in the same area so you just collect all
Yeah.
one in one
Yeah.
pickup?
I mean, the takeaway from that is that collecting coins in The Last of Us it's even more boring than collecting them in real life.
Yeah, and there's not even any fucking money because no one's gonna pay for fucking pay. Like you can't pay for anything in the apocalypse with fucking quarters. Like nobody takes quarters anymore. It
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah. No
matter.
one.
Yeah,
There's no eBay. Okay.
Yeah,
there's no.
exactly.
There's no.
Cause
There's
then, hey,
no.
here's some quarters. Can I have like a fucking bag of chips? Yeah. How about you give me your gun instead? I want that more. That helps me more than the fucking.
Okay,
Sir,
so you
we
give
don't
them
accept this currency.
you
Please bring
boil
bottle
it.
caps.
Yeah, you get the metal from it to make the bullets.
Exactly.
Oh man,
Oh,
it's
God.
the
that's funny.
experience, they say.
He's like, I just shot a communist from with a United States coin. They just blew up instantly.
I
They're
wasn't
like
a
werewolves.
communist. I'm actually a democratic socialist.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh my god.
oh God. Fun times. I do really want to go back to playing The Last of Us 2. I actually had a lot of fun with that gameplay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
I like
for as much as the game,
that new mode where it's like super hard is kind of enticing.
yeah, yeah. I mean, as much as the theme of the game, it's violence is bad. I have a lot of fun being a fucking psycho in that game.
Hmm.
It's just so much fun. Like they made the killing too much fun.
All the ways that you can murder that person.
Yeah, you can be very creative.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Mr. Apollo?
Well, I mean, I don't have that much stuff on my backlog just because like I make a point to like finish every game I start unless I don't like the game. Then I'll just stop it whenever. But so like most of the big games and stuff from last generation, like the ones that you get for free on in the PlayStation Collection when you get PS5, like I've played all those games except for like Monster Hunter and The Last Guardian, I think, and I don't care about those games except for Persona 5. That's the one that is on my backlist. I meant to I had Persona 4 Golden on my Vita for like 3 years, and I just had to delete it because I'm like I'm never gonna get to this game. But Persona 5 is supposed to be really really good. It's a long game though, so it's you got to find the right time to sort of sink into that. But we were already talking about Zelda, and Breath of the Wild, and that's one I still have your copy that you let me borrow, Carlos, and I do mean to fucking play that game eventually. But here's the thing: every on a very very rare occasion, I play a game for the wrong reason, and that reason is out of spite. And
Out
I
of
play the
spite.
game just so I I do
Did you
this
want to
extre-
spike me? What did I do to you, man?
Actually, you are one of the people I want to spite, but I mean it's a spite to the masses, really. But basically, what I mean is like the last time I did this was with Assassin's Creed 2, so it was years and years ago. Where I started the game, I didn't really like it, but everybody was like, "Oh, it's the best game of the year! It's so great! It's amazing!" And it's just I just played Uncharted 2, which is one of the fucking best games ever made, and it's a similar game in terms of the traversal, and you're climbing a lot of shit and you're fighting a lot of people, and I'm just like, this is way fucking better. And then I went to Assassin's Creed 2, and the climbing sucks, all the characters are forgettable, the main character sucks, like the story is okay, like the Da Vinci stuff is okay, like the cityscape is awesome because they always do great cities and stuff in Assassin's Creed, but it's a very like generic game. It's not that great. And like I was gonna platinum it out of spite, but instead I got 95% of it because I couldn't find like one of the fucking feather collectibles, and I'm like, fuck this, I've done enough.
Fuck the feather collectibles.
If anybody thinks I'm not an authority on this game, they can eat my fucking dick, okay? Because this game, like, it's trash. Like, it's trash. And like I literally just completed it simply so that if anybody challenged me on it, I'd be like, yeah, I played it. Tell me what you like about it, and I'll tell you why you're wrong. And so with Zelda,
Man,
the Breath of the Wild, here's the thing: I do genuinely want to play the game, but my problem is that there's so many people out there, so many people who are like, this is the best open world game I've ever played. And I hear a lot of things. I hear a lot of things, and I played a lot of open world games. But like I hear a lot of things, and that's fair. That's your opinion. That's totally fine. My problem is that a lot of their opinions on why it's the best open world are very flimsy. Like, oh, well, you can climb anything. I mean, that's cool, but that's not a reason why it's the best open world game in the universe.
Hey, man,
That's
that makes LinkedIn like.
You can like fucking anything you see in the world you can actually go to. Hey, yeah, they did that in Skyrim 10 years ago. Like, that's not new. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? So I'm playing that game partially because I want to play it, but mostly out of spite.
Just spike me. Got it.
You and the masses, but mostly the masses who say it's the best fucking open world game of the. I'm gonna play the shit out of it. I'm gonna get all the Korok seeds. I'm gonna do everything just so anyone challenges me like, oh, this is the best. I'm like, no, these games are better.
This is perfect. We need the meme where it's all like, where the guy on the fucking what was it? He's on this little like table, and it says, it says something to effect of like, Zelda Breath of the Wild sucks. Convince me otherwise. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
You're that guy.
Yeah. Change my mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
change my mind. Yeah.
Excuse me, but at this point, Link can become the next person in the next Suicide Squad. Link, this is the man who can climb anything.
Oh, that would be funny.
Can we make that into a GIF? Just fucking Link like climbing a wake like with his head on top of its Slipknot, and they just like blows up. Spoiler alert.
He does a grappling hook thing and then disappears.
Yeah.
And he gets his head blown off.
Yeah.
That'd be funny.
All right, so there's that. I've gotten the spite one out of the way, and then you have I have ones that I'm definitely gonna get to, like that are like not even that old, like Death Stranding and Final Fantasy Remake. Like I'm gonna play those like early next year for sure. And then Mario Odyssey, I'll definitely get to eventually because I want to play that. And then you have like a sort of a bunch of indie games like Undertale. I've been meaning to play for years. Hollow Knight, I have now because it was free on PlayStation Plus, so that'll also be probably early next year after Cyberpunk is good and done. And then things like Night in the Woods, Celeste, And then Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. I want to give another shot because I played that game maybe a year and a half, 2 years
Spite.
now. No, not out of spite. Again, I only do that very rarely.
Okay.
Only Breath of the Wild and Assassin's Creed 2 are literally the only ones I can actually think of that I've ever done that with. And Assassin's Creed is the only one I've actually played. So yeah, but yeah, Hellblade is one where I really like I really like the material that they're going through,
Oh,
and
shit.
I like that they're dealing with mental illness in an interesting way. But the thing that like sort of, and I really like Senua as a character, but the thing that like, because I played that game for maybe 5 or 6 hours, but I couldn't really keep going just because I didn't like the puzzles and I didn't like the combat, and it just really sort of threw me off. So I do want to give that game another shot too because I know it's getting a sequel and it looks pretty cool. So and then there are two that are one in particular that are pretty old. One is Alan Wake, which I distinctly remember like I had like back in 2010 I had enough I was in college and I had enough money to buy one game that month and I was going to it came out at the same time as Red Dead Redemption and I was like Alan Wake or Red Dead and I looked at the reviews and I was like man they're both getting good reviews but I chose Red Dead and while I definitely don't
I
regret
think you
that
chose right.
yeah, I definitely don't regret that. But Alan Wake is still one that I've been meaning to get back to, especially because it does. We were talking about Control before, and I really love that game. And that game has a connection to Alan Wake. Like Alan Wake is in one of the Control DLCs that I still haven't played. But
Huh.
yeah, like so I want to play that, and then Sunset Overdrive is one totally would have played last gen if I had had an Xbox. That game just got rave reviews, like critically and commercially, and or not commercially, but by the the masses. And I always wanted to play that game. Looked really really fun. Looked like fun traversal. It was like super colorful, bright. The combat looked really good. And that was, I believe that was by Insomniac as well. So yeah, that game, and then a couple others are like the Bloodstained games. I've been meaning to get to for a while. They look really, really good. Like the Curse of the Moon stuff, and then the Bloodstained game proper. And I know it's getting a sequel as well. And then I think the last one I have here is the Castlevania collection. But it's on PlayStation, but it like the Castlevania collection has like all these. It has like 1, 2, and 3, but then it also has like ones like Aria of Sorrow and like Kid Dracula and all these like weird ones that I want to play, as well as Rondo of Blood and Symphony of the Night, which I never really got that far into. So, and that's Symphony of the Night is highly praised. It's like one of the best games of all time. So I definitely want to give that a shot as well. But yeah, I don't really have that big of a backlog. Mostly because again, I make a point to finish games, but also because I just when I transfer like console generations, I kind of just let the backlogs on those consoles for the most part go. Like I had a way bigger backlog when I was on PS3, and then when I went to PS4, there was so much stuff that I wanted to play that I just never got to play. That was on my that I had on the PS3, and I just never got to it. And I was just like, I gotta let these go. Like I'm not gonna play them. I just have to just let it go, and it's honestly pretty freeing, honestly.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same thing with the PS5. Like now that I'm on the PS5, it's like all the games I mentioned, I definitely do intend to play. Like these are games I definitely intend to get to, like sooner rather than later. But there are a few others I think that, but I'm just not going to get to them. So that's that. Like I think I have Far Cry New Dawn, which is the expansion of Far Cry 5, which I've heard because I don't really, like I mentioned, I don't really like Far Cry 5, so the expansion is actually supposed to, for a lot of people who didn't like it, it's actually supposed to be a lot better than the main game. And I bought that at like the beginning of this year, and I looked for like $15 in a sale, and I just never played it. But yeah, that's it.
It's not bad. At least you'll it seems like there's a light at the end of that tunnel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like that you'll be able to get through it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few like big ones like Persona 5 and like Zelda and Mario and Final Fantasy Remake, but a lot of
And the
them
original
are.
Dark Souls. You really kept talking about the original Dark Souls.
Well, you know what? I do want to play the original Dark Souls when they inevitably just remake it from the ground up, like they did with Demon Souls. That's
You
when I'll
wouldn't
play
do the
it.
remaster?
No.
Like,
I
like an
want it
actual
with like
remake.
I want it with like revamped combat the way they did with Demon Souls, where it's like faster and snappier and not as clunky.
Interesting. I will ask about that gameplay just when we pass into our PlayStation 5 section.
Alrighty. Well, it's already an hour, so we'll split this up into separate episodes.
All right. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Episode 23. Okay, bye-bye, guys. See you on
That was-
episode...
Take the red pill,
or
Jimmy.
Actually, wait. Actually, this is 24, right? Yeah.
24. Yeah, we're going to
Okay.
for 25.
We're
We're
24.
almost
We're
moving-
going to 25. All right. Moving
yeah.
in 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye.